продолжим проходить такую неплохую игру. Вроде бы как она, первое впечатление сложилось вполне неплохое. Диско Elysium такая, похожа на старенькие игры, еще, наверное, годов 90-х. Такой квестовый этот элемент присутствует. А я любил, кстати, старенькие вот игры. Квестики мне нравились. Ну что ты не запускаешься? Алле. Что такое? Что там в этой геймсе? А, господи, блин, а. Фильм, слава богу. Так, сейчас быстренько зайдем. Давай быстрее входи уже. Все? Почему-то учетка слетел. Вот, ты зашел. Хорошая игрушка. Пока что очень прикольно. Дальше посмотрим, как так. На чем там остановились-то. Вышли из этой, на трупик. Основной сюжет-то осмотреть, снять труп. Такие там довольно-таки неплохая ролевая составляющая вроде бы. Насколько я успел заметить, что там можно. Еще так интересно, эти кубики, когда бросаются, то есть ну, такие прям старый режим чувствуется. Давай, что ты там, блин, еле-еле загружаешься. Там, что у тебя грузится там, блин? Сколько ты там, 10 гигов всего весишь? Это в основном текст. Ай. На, все, сейчас сначала загрузить, потом уже запускать. А тут на одну загрузку полторы минуты уходит. Так, продолжим. Больше проверки с секретными диктаторы сложности. С определенным сложностью. Что на женщине такое интересно?
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant Kitsuragi is gone.
The worn and beaten wood.
You can
traveler.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
From another planet. Hey there. It's the jam, my man. It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating. All around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days. Yeah, exactly.
It's official. He too agrees. This is the antechamber of the afterlife.
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes and mazout.
Mazout is an antiquated term for heavy fuel oils. This man has a barely suppressed performative streak, or he just likes unusual words, or both.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need? Nope, don't smoke. Some of the other drivers do, though. There's still a few around, waiting for the jam to disperse, or waiting for the sweet release of death.
Yup, nothing wrong with that statement. Your senses have nothing to add. You'll have to ask around elsewhere.
You could also check the kiosk down the street. Frit. With 3 T's. Rebishaw's weird. Nope, don't smoke. Some of the other drivers do, though.
Yup, nothing wrong with that statement. Your senses have nothing to add. You'll have to ask around elsewhere.
You could also check the kiosk down the street. Frit. With 3 T's. Rebishaw's weird. Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work. The bosses, man. Yeah, it sure ain't good for me. Or you. I'd spare a coin or two for a city cop down in his luck. If I had saved 4 myself. It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out. Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. precise demands and so on.
Сейчас сотрудница компании, типа переговорщика с бастующими. Она точно знает, чем делать, чего они хотят и так далее.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
Не сомневаюсь, что мы скоро встретимся. Как думаешь, что хочет компания?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man.
Они
Ka-ching.
хотят, чтобы деньги шли, дружище.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side, that's for sure.
Это точно. Так, ладно.
Anything else?
Что-то еще?
Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise.
Ты же в этом не
I
разбираешься,
just do my
просто
job and
делай
get
свою
paid.
работу и беру деньги.
I have things to do and places to
У меня
be.
есть дела,
All
которые
of us
нужно
do.
делать, и места, куда надо попасть, как и у всех. Всех?
Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end.
У нас шоферов был
Most have
далеко,
scurried
а
off
мне
somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
кто-то решил остаться здесь и дождаться, пока борьба закончится, но большинство разбрелось, кто напиться, кто заторчать, типа да, он невольно улыбается. Впрочем, не могу их винить, а ты сам дошла.
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
Не по этим делам, гоняться за мимолетными удовольствиями такая морока. Я теперь предпочитаю наблюдение, думать, рефлексировать, отличать, а не глядеть на горизонт и в глазах яркий воздух.
What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. When one's ended, you can get onto the next one.
Может быть лучше, чем гоняться за мимолетными удовольствиями. Чем мимолетнее, тем лучше. Когда одно удовольствие заканчивается, можно перейти к следующему. Так. Давай, что именно ты переводишь.
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Такую ерунду, первоклассные наркотики, нелегальное оружие. Можно наоборот, нелегальные наркотики, первоклассное оружие. Первоклассные нелегальные наркотики.
Relax. He's merely joking.
Так, ну третья фраза, наверное, закончим, да? Давай-ка вот так сделаем.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. You know, tracksuits and that kind of thing.
Сейчас у меня груз спортивных товаров, например, очень стильных, как это точно.
They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Ilmaran market lately.
В последнее время мы активно осваиваем демаратский рынок. Выходит, ничего нелегального?
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road. This rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6?
Это повидавшая виды колымага, похоже, как древняя модель Фаун, а может быть А6. Это у тебя тут Фаун А6?
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable.
Наблюдательный.
Me and her spent a long time together.
Старая, но надежная. Он хлебал и похлопает по корпусу грузовика. Мы с ней провели вместе кучу времени. Так, а можно еще что-нибудь или нет? Что-нибудь это
This
того
rockin'
нет?
beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of.
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some...
Neat. For carrying large quantities of cargo a long distance. These found tracksuits need to find their way to the kids way out in Wamrau and Loran Bird somehow.
Так, а можно мне тренировочный костюм?
We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Так, ну давай это что-нибудь в месяце.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
Я торчу тут, теряя время и веду бурную деятельность.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the
Он
dark
не
stuff.
солгал. Сразу видно правду. От мрачной темы держится подальше. Какую деятельность?
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
Психологические последствия прозябания среди моря грузовиков и их унылых подавленных шоферов.
Ask for his conclusion.
Спроси про его выводы. Что? Это как это понять? И к какому ты пришел выводу?
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees.
Больше трупов не болтается. Так, ну ладно, это...
Don't be a stranger.
Бывает. Так, ладно. Так, сделать.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Revachol, son of Philip II, the opulent, father of Philip IV, the insane." Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy. Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers, the suzerain of Revachol. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola. Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry, armor, and various chalices. He called it the Sol Aurum. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person.
Я бы хотел поспать на золото, как подобает жрецу. Удобно,
But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry. He was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy. Not just any nose candy, though. We're talking Royal Philippian Blow, allegedly twice as potent as the stuff you find nowadays, and purple. Philippian cocaine was purple. Cocaine. That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later, right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's mortal remains in the Insulindian Bay. His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms. Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay, thrown there by the revolutionaries after they cleaned out the royal mausoleum. The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships during the turn of the century revolution, when Martinez was leveled. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. If the communards had more time, they would have reduced it up to even finer pieces. Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revachol in the poorest part of the city. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit. People in Martinez tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders with more nuanced social awareness than the young ironists. Those critics might have it wrong, though. There's more to it than just ironism, but you can't say what precisely. Perhaps this art mystery will be solved at a later time. Philip III, the squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death. Not that he ever did in life either.
Чтобы и при жизни его это заботило. Что это?
A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, I am Philip III. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the great.
Так, что-то мы не дали вообще мешком. Так, меня ставить сюда, да, готовые появились. Добавили. Одинокая дорога домой. Так, полностью мысли. Она куда-то меняется.
Yes?
The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter, some cigarettes and food money. Maybe she's your... Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening. Her hair is gray like lead. No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone. Why? I just told you why.
A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter soaks in the canal. Two ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted.
Так, визуальный анализ, средний, попробовать остановить события. Высокий шанс. Давай.
Just some tasteless advertising at the bottom of a canal. No use rubbernecking now.
Это просто какая-то безвкусная реклама на дне канала. Что-то там смотреть.
Whatever it is, the boy on the billboard seems very happy about it. Goat milk and butter. The Samaran terrain makes it easier to raise goats than cows, and the local goat farmers produce high-quality meat and dairy staples that add variety to other nations' diets. It's an acquired taste. A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed Samaran butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. Pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea interrupts the silence of the situation. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water lock to get across the canal some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? The lever all the way up. Nothing happens. A spring brings the lever back to its original. Wasn't there a sign over there?
G'day to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock and on an enormous billboard that has fallen down into the canal between them.
I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Revachol.
The words daredevil driver sound ominous to you.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. It's supposed to operate the waterlock, but as noted, it's all junk right now. Disabled because of the blockage. Safety measure. Turns out the panel needs a special key to be reactivated. Wouldn't want anyone moving the waterlock with debris still in the channel.
Еще не хватало, чтобы кто-то открыл шлюз, пока этот мусор еще в канале.
It'll be restarted on Wednesday
Это
morning.
управление запустится в среду утром.
You want to do the honors when the time comes?
Торжественно его открыть, когда придет время. Не откажусь с энтузиазмом.
Great! Just drop in on Wednesday if you want to see the waterlock at work. They say the canal crew will be here at 7:15.
The coast part of the map is inaccessible until the third day.
Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation, though. There always seems to be something wrong with it. Yeah, not really much else. Just bombed out ruins. Sure thing. Want some too, officer?
Why not?
Почему бы и нет, решительно кивает лейтенант, на мгновение задумавшись, а затем отправляет в рот потянутый на кусок солями. Ну ладно, до свидания. Это не потеряет. Закройте шлюз в среду. Чтобы попасть на телевизор, нужно воспользоваться панелью, где шлюз заблокирован в ожидании ремонта, который должен закончиться в среду. После этого максимум закроется новая область. Понятненько.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the...
Hello again, officer. How are things? Excuse me?
She's uncomfortable. Maybe you should drop this line of questioning. She shifts in her seat awkwardly. This Postler Vantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front. The box seems happy.
Ow.
There is a hollow, saddened ring as you kick the Levantorie mail collection box. It sounds betrayed, in disbelief even. Your toe has suffered damage. It hurts.
Cool. You really showed that mail collection box.
He does not actually think it's cool. If anything, the lieutenant feels sorry for the poor box. He's leaning in to inspect the layers of graffito that deface it. The lieutenant pats the box, ever so slightly. The worn and beaten wooden planks of...
You can revisit.
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. An off-key melody starts playing after you ring the doorbell. Then a woman picks up.
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't have time for your stupid game.
Кто такой Куна? Это полиция, откройте.
Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I thought you were...
Я думал, это последние слова не слышно из-за
But the doorbell is broken, and the bookstore shouldn't even be on the list anymore. So I can't help you. Please don't call here again. Thanks.
Пожалуйста, не звоните сюда больше. Спасибо.
A single beep indicates that the line has gone dead. You ring the doorbell, but no one answers. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone's hair. All you hear is static, but no one answers the call. You ring the doorbell, but nothing happens. You wait for a minute or two, but all you get from the call box is silence. No one answers the call. Looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell doesn't work anymore. You hear static from the intercom speaker. It sounds as if someone has picked up the receiver, but isn't saying anything.
Yes, hello. This is Tracy with Ennial Electric. Have you come to place an order?
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. A receiver must not be working properly.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanges a look with you.
It's you. My God. I didn't think I would hear your voice.
It's a woman, and she knows you. Your heart beats faster. Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it. No, something's wrong here. Are you sure she's talking to you?
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care. Ever since I came to live here, it's different. As if my mind's been wiped clean.
A spot of static overrides her words. When she speaks again, it sounds like she's submerged.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally again.
She sounds like she's about to cry. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay. Another seagull passes by. It's getting cold standing here, staring at the silent call.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name cards on the call box read. No, hold on. The last thing you need in your life is more hysteric emotions. Forget it. Find something else to do. Silence. No one's home at Fortress Accident. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you. Silence. No one answers your call. This button looks new, but someone has removed the name card. Nothing happens when you try to ring it.
Oh, this button looks new. It's probably not connected yet.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, "Whirling in rags." There's something in there, not necessarily connected to the case, but still. Well, it is a container. Maybe you're prioritizing it.
Trash, food waste from the cafeteria. They lock these containers to keep the derelicts from flocking in. Could be evidence too. Mm-hmm. We could try using a pry bar, the one you took from my motor carriage, or we could ask for a key from the manager of the Whirling in Rags. He probably has one.
He might also have information. This is better than the pry bar idea. An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. Because it's nice and orderly, well-laid pallets, easy on the eyes. Rhythmic pattern calms your mind. Mammals like this stuff. No, there's more to this. You get this strange feeling. Hard to say. It's gone now. Feelings pass, you see. Especially the small ones. It's nothing. Someone just left some roofing material slanted against an old shack. Glad you asked. When junior researcher Olari Tal invented Eternite in the Vartna Polytechnic Institute some 30-odd years ago, he thought it would last forever, hence the name Eternite. Sadly, the only lasting thing turned out to be the material's highly carcinogenic effect.
Kuno's got this.
Куна в порядке. Мальчику, швыряющему камни в труп, явно не больше 12. Какой-то вообще такой гоблин.
If there ever was such a thing as an ugly kid, then this is it. He's almost exquisite in his ugliness, like a gremlin.
Ну, почти я угадал. Гремлин, гоблин, отплывание.
Oh yeah, Napakumpi,
Вот так,
Kuno.
Куна, на покумпе, кричит девчонка из-за забора. Это девочка, Лена. Ясно. На парусов пацан по полицейскому делу. Ну да.
Right in the dick, Kuno.
Прямо в
Get him
перх,
right in the
Куна.
dick.
Подойди ему прямо в перх. Дети, не обращать никакого внимания.
Love it in the dick.
Любят перх. Хватит кидаться камнями на моем месте преступления.
Fuck that.
Выйди
Kuno,
этого
yeah,
перха,
right in the
Куна,
mouth
говорит.
hole.
Да, прям делай.
Shits himself.
Ты обосрался.
The rake, Kuno.
Грабли, Куна.
You should throw the rake at him, Kuno.
Граблями.
The fuck does Kuno know what a rake is? Kuno is not a gardener.
Куна не огородник. Вы двойняшки?
The fuck are you talking about?
Он бросает очередной
He's
камень.
calling us Kuno.
Он
He
назвал
says
нас
we're fucking
первым
each other.
первым. Говорит, будто мы с другом споримся. Слушай, у меня тебе пара вопросов.
All right, entertain the
Давай,
Kuno.
опять что там
Show me what you got.
Куна.
What you got there? What you got, huh? Show me what you got.
Irregular speech patterns, overconfidence. Could this kid be on drugs? This warrants further investigation into this Kuno.
Что ты знаешь об этом трупе?
Shitload pig.
Да
What's your
хрена
question?
говномусор. Что у тебя за вопросы?
Don't tell the pig shit,
Где
Kuno.
мусора, ни хрена, Куна. Слушай, Ким, помоги мне. Что мы хотим узнать?
If I were to want to waste my time, which I do not, I would ask them who he is, how he got there, and the
Кто
usual.
он такой? Как он сюда попал? Ну и обычная.
The usual being.
Обычная.
Have you seen anything out of the ordinary? Or have you seen anything suspicious?
Ты знаешь, что это был?
Kuno's fuck imp.
Это Куна.
Kuno uses the fuck imp for target
Он
practice.
поднимает камень. Механический Куна.
He's trying to hide the fact that he doesn't know.
Я имел в виду, кем он был до того, как умер.
Kuno knows what you meant.
Всё Куна
Kuno's
понял,
not a
Куна
snitch.
просто не стучать.
That's all.
Как бы он
Trying to
такой,
make Kuno
так
sing into the
позвонить
popo
Куна.
phone.
Ты знаешь, как он попал на дерево?
Probably climbed.
Там забрался,
Kuno was
наверное,
busy down the road when that shit went down.
Когда эта херня случилась, Куна по делам шастал. Так ты видел, как это?
You heard Kuno. Kuno wasn't even in Martinez. Kuno wasn't in Revachol. Kuno wasn't regional.
Гору выдирать, но Куна не трахит за холод. Понятно, где ж ты был.
I don't know. Some
Не знаю,
fucking
ну какой-то, бля, он оглядывается, пытается что-нибудь придумать.
Mesco. Or I don't know. Some other place. Night City. Kuno was in fucking Night City.
There is no Night City anywhere. That sounds like the name of a city in some pulp science fiction novel.
А где находится найти?
Kuno gives this info out on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. Kuno didn't smoke the gimp, if that's what you meant.
Thanks, Kuno. That's one name you can now cross off the list.
Just a couple of pigs sniffing around in the dirt. That seems pretty fucking suspicious to Kuno. Yeah,
you tell the
Да,
faggoty
скажи этому
Kuno.
фагаре, Куно.
Looks like you're a fagari
Похоже, ты
now,
теперь фагаре.
whatever that means.
Чтобы это не значило.
The
Вопрос,
suspicious
а вы не
question
видите, что
doesn't
подозрительное
really
не
work in
работает, когда
antagonistic
полицейский
situations.
настроен против тебя. Ладно.
You're testing Kuno's patience here.
Испытывай терпение Куна.
Get lost.
Отлично. Так, что еще остается говорить?
The fuck about it?
А что с ним? А, ну ладно.
You're testing.
Get lost.
Насчет места преступления. Вы часто играете в этом заре?
Right, pig. This is where Kuno plays with his little wooden choo-choo. What do you want with it?
Лестница. Слазал по ней.
Look at that fucking shit. You're trying to get Kuno killed.
Ты прикончить Куна хочешь. То есть, на твой взгляд, забраться по этой лестнице нельзя.
Fuck does Kuno know? Kuno's not a fucking acrobat.
Акробат, что ли?
The lieutenant takes a quick note in his notebook.
It's a trap, Kuno. Don't climb it, Kuno.
Говорите, Флип.
Dunno. Kiptas gardener used to work there.
Там раньше работала садовница Кипса.
Kipt is a pejorative term used to describe people of South Seminese or Erie-Opagite descent. It used to be a common first name among the Erie-Opagites of Ilmara. Not so much anymore.
Сейчас встречается редко. Погоди, садовница там раньше работала?
Yeah, that's what Kuno said. She couldn't handle the heat, so she took off. Kuno can take it.
А Куна что делает?
Shit's nothing to Kuno.
Глаза его слегка слезятся. Это полная хуйня для Куна. Эта девушка уже там по крепе, это садовница.
Look, Kuno doesn't explain shit. Kuno just says shit.
Он смотрит тебе в глаза и кивает, как бы соглашается между собой.
Yeah, her.
Да, это.
What was she doing in the greenhouse in March anyway? What kind of gardening is done in March? Fish is sometimes used to fertilize the soil a few weeks before planting something. Maybe she was preparing the garden beds. Yes, it seems suspicious. You don't like things being like that. Suspicious.
Don't be wondering about Kuno's shit, pig. Fuck does Kuno care about your hunch? That's your shit. You figured it out. That's just some shit roofing gimps left behind, lazy dinks.
There it is. That strange feeling again. As if there was more than meets the eye about that pile of roofing material.
Здесь нет ни одной нормальной фразы, но он мне дает. Да если хочешь любить сквозь завесу.
In her eye! Fuck are you talking about? Ask me a normal question, pig.
They're trying to make you feel stupid, Kuno.
You glance again at the roofing material in front of the shack. Yes, you should go back there.
That's just some shit roofing.
There it is. That strange feeling again. As if there was more than meets the...
The fucking well! The fuck are you talking about? Ask me a normal question.
They're trying to make you feel
You glance again at the roofing material.
That's just some shit.
There it is. That strange feeling again. As if there was more than meets the eye about that.
The fuck are you talking about? Kuno doesn't know what handed gimps they wear.
trying to get you to talk gimp, Kuno. Don't talk.
We are way beyond normal already. We are in the Star Chamber.
Huh? I have no idea what you just said.
Are you having a seizure in Kuno's yard now?
We are way beyond normal already. We are in the Star Chamber.
Are you having a seizure in Kuno's yard now? In her eye.
They're trying to make you...
You glance again at the roofing material in front of the shack. Yes, you should go back there.
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno's Kuno, pig?
It's always Kuno, never I. Clearly the kid's using the third-person perspective as a shield.
Kuno doesn't do that smart shit. Don't throw that bullshit at Kuno. Kuno knows you're lying. Trying to get Kuno hooked on the book.
Watch out, Kuno! He's trying to fiddle you! He's gonna put his hands on you! Help! Pig's got Kuno!
Help! He's got the Kuno! Help! Help! He's digging his dick out!
Escalate, Kuno! His dick is out! You're afraid!
Pig's in here, Kuno! Somebody, please!
How did we get here? How did this happen? This makes no sense. There may still be a way out. Just appeal to his reason. Thump. The blow connects surprisingly well, leaving your knuckles tingling. Kuno feels it. This was no light tap.
What?
Думаю, теперь мы можем поговорить нормально, верно, Куно?
Officer, this is very far from normal police conduct. Get yourself together.
For heaven's sake, he thinks, this has gone too far. Don't make this any worse than it is. Just get back to questioning the kid.
Okay, pig. Kuno knows to respect that violent shit. You should see Kuno's dad. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit about anything.
The creature behind the fence has fallen ominously silent. Only her eyes are alive, jumping from actor to actor.
Okay, pig. Talk to Kuno. We're back in this shit. The fuck do you want? Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it? That's just some shit roofing gimps.
There it is. That strange feeling again.
The fuck are you talking about?
Trying to get you to talk gimp, Kuno. Don't talk.
The fucking well. The fuck?
They're trying to make you feel...
You glance again at the roofing material in front of the shack. Yes, you should go back there.
Don't be wondering about Kuno's shit, pig. fuck does Kuno care about your hunch? That's your shit. You figured it out. Look at that fucking shit. You're trying to get Kuno killed. Fuck does Kuno know? Kuno's not...
The lieutenant.
It's a trap, Kuno! Don't climb it, Kuno!
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. You're dreaming, pig. That's not how this shit works.
A little. But don't expect anything to change.
Don't let him dominate you, Kuno! Fuck his fat ass!
Kuno's Kuno. You already know that slow shit. Kuno thinks you have brain damage or some shit. Kuno cares.
Kuno, stop being nice to the pig! Step away from Kuno, fat ass creep!
Ease off, see. Don't be telling Kuno what Kuno can do. What else you want, pig man?
He's on your crime scene, bossing you around. And he's been here for some time too. This is where he hangs out. You have to get more out of him. He could be useful.
Trying to fuck at the Kuno. Trying to fuck at me. Trying to fuck. Kuno only gets higher. It's faster, faster, faster. Can't take the Kuno. Stay out of the reactor.
Kuno gonna fuck you up!
Normal is not what we got here. You've got to work with what you have for now.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Kuno, the pig's getting pretty close to me. Come to snuff my shit out, I think. Looks like it's time for me to go, Kuno. Pig's come to take me in. I'm going away for a long, long time, Kuno. Going away for life.
What's going on there? Fuck are you trying to pull, pig?
I come from the woods, You don't want to go there with me. You don't want to see what I've seen.
Don't be traumatizing here. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. What's this kid shit? Fucking mind games. I'd rather die than squeal.
Get the fuck out of here, face. You got done. Talk to me.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Murder was the case they gave me.
Дело, которое мне дали. Мы сейчас слышали песню о том, как на нее якобы выглядело убийство. В смысле, повесили дело.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Ты за забором.
You don't want to fuck with me. I got my hands bloody. I'm not here, pig. You're not seeing this.
You can still see the top of her hat from behind the fence.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
The corpse looks at you with bulging white eyes. The face around them does not look human. It's swollen and ready to burst. His lips are fish-like and his tongue like a ball gag in his mouth. You seem to be holding your breath. A cargo belt twists his neck at an unnatural angle. The body below appears stiff. It's letting out an ungodly rot. The smell seeps in, even through your clenched nostrils. The smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth, more instant and more familiar than anything you expected, more fever than odor. It fills your mind, flushing you from within. Too late. It's impossible to keep in. Your body curls and pushes it out, burst by burst, until a pool of vomit lies under your feet and your throat stings from the stomach acid.
Keep it. The hangover is clearly making these worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. That young woman, the gardener, mentioned she used salts for the smell. If she doesn't have any, there might be some in the fridge store nearby.
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white chip. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them.
Active decay. It's okay to throw up, officer. No one is judging.
He's about to blow! The cop's gonna blow, Kuno!
It's raining again. It was clear just an hour ago. Sure, I'm done with them. Go easy on that stuff. It gave me a terrible headache. Well, this might be the last snow we get. At least I hope so. Snow has nutrients in it. Helps everything green up in the spring. At least that's what my grandma always told me.
Yes, think about the cute grandma, not the weird snow.
A bit much? What are you talking about? That's what my grandma told me, okay?
She feels interrogated now. It's hard to say if she's lying.
Relax, miss. This is not an interrogation. We are just checking some facts.
Nitrogen and sulfur mostly. And whatever factories and aerostatics exhale too, I guess.
Stop looking at her. Look around. What do you see? That's right. and the canal, the bookstore, the harbor gates. This is a great vantage point for keeping an eye on you.
No, of course not. I don't understand what this is about. The kid did this, right? The red-haired rat? Can't say a sentence without or kipped. He's always giving me trouble. Maybe you shouldn't be. I mean, you do your job, but that kid is beyond help, and he certainly won't help you.
You've been resting here for quite a while, haven't you?
Yes, I'm tired.
I understand. The RCM isn't welcome here, and the locals want to keep an eye on us.
There's silence, the smallest of smiles.
That's okay, miss. Do what you have to do. I think we're done here. Let's go.
Fuck, does Kuno care?
It's not Kuno, it's Kuno-S.
Fuck you whispering about?
He's whispering too. He's going with it. But watch what happens.
Fuck you whispering about!
She puts extra stress onto that word, expecting it will make you uncomfortable.
If Kuno wants to whisper, he's gonna fucking whisper, okay? Let's whisper, pig.
This is it. You've got him. But be careful. You can still fuck this up. Don't make Kuno look bad in this.
She's not fucked up. Everyone's fucked up. Stop judging shit.
Wrong move. But he's whispering still. You haven't lost him. Just don't mess up again. Or you will. There are no guarantees here.
It's okay. The pig's trying to pit us against each other. Not gonna let.
That's it. You let him off the line. That was a bad...
Try to fuck my Kuno! Try to fuck my Kuno away! Me and Kuno are tight. We ride for life.
Pig, do you have any idea how fucking stupid that's at? Kuno's cruising his bitch on the town, and the bitch comes back griefing to the Kuno. What is up with that?
Get the fuck out of here, fat ass! Those pants are too small for you.
What's going on? Is an ungovernable youth on your crime scene, throwing around incendiary language. Like you don't have enough on your plate. You feel a sudden surge of self-pity coming on.
Take the pain, fucko! Take the bat!
Smelling weakness. She loves it.
You heard that, see? Porker wants to talk about how he can hack this shit. Porker wants to move.
Don't let him move in with us, Kuno!
You have no idea what to say now. You're just going to have to try to change the subject.
Kuno doesn't fucking...
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Stay away from me, pig! You don't want to see...
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all. The ammonia only makes it worse. The combination forces tears out of your ducts. You manage to keep it in once. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
How does the wind right now?
The weight is reassuring, like a crenel on solid fortification. Pat, pat, pat.
I've seen strong men turn themselves inside out for hours. You are facing tough odds here. Alcohol withdrawal makes it considerably harder. I've seen captains puke their guts out. It never gets easier. You never get used to the smell. Every Monday is cadaver day. Throw up, investigate. Throw up, initial autopsy. Throw up, bag it. Then drive to the station. Maybe throw up on the way there if you didn't bag the thing tight enough. I think I've lost my sense of smell.
A white lie.
Not being hungover helps too. That's probably a good idea. Clear our heads. But before we can do that, you need to get your shit together. No, it's not, officer. We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now.
You've gained a thought. When this dialogue is over, go to your thought cabinet and internalize it with special bonuses and effects.
Give it half an hour. Get yourself together. Then come back and have another go.
Попробую снова. Так, ну ладно. Ладно, так, это замыслим. Крепко собирать. Блин, исследование. Так, ты тряпка. Это не к лицу, не конкретному, не человеческому существу в целом. Нормально такая игра, вообще молодец такая, браво. Ты говно нахуй. Тряпки надо вид повесить. Прежде всего собраться, привести в порядок эту мягкую разряданную массу. Чтобы вывести себя из состояния тряпки, собери яйца в кулак и держи не менее 30 минут. А потом сделай нечто подобное с полушариями своего мозга. Поговори с людьми, вдруг поможет. Так, это собирательство. Так, что у нас что-то? Так, у нас появился такого. Марки. Все. Так.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. Because it's nice and orderly, well-laid pallets, it reveals no secrets at this. This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, "What?" The worker is in a deep slumber.
Can I help you? Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the container locked?
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
I thought as much. And are you the only party with access to the trash container?
Well, yes. Us and the garbage disposal company.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. Prod at him and find out.
Callous? What are you, Kras Mazov? Almost all establishments in Revachol keep their trash locked. The Whirling in Rags is not special in that regard.
Krasmazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a historical materialist. He was a leading figure on the Grad side of the Centennial Revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of scientific communism, Mazovian thought, or Mazovianism.
What are we talking about? Was this not about the trash container? We should return to the case of your mistaken identity at a later time, officer. This was about the trash container.
What for? Mazov? Are you planning to nationalize my trash container?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please. Another thing. Great. I love those. Yes. Yes. Have you got it? For the drinks, 30 real. Like what? I was really enjoying talking about the money you owe me. God.
Oh, but he should be. Lay it on him.
Wonderful.
It is. It's wonderful.
What? What does that mean? Cock carousel.
Она будет кружиться на карусели вперед, пока не состоится, а потом подыщет себе спонсора. Просто будет щеку языком. Ну давай, ладно, сделаем.
Huh?
Yeah, this feels right. It feels wise. Good setup. Now speak the real shit.
Does it mean you talked to her? What else did she say about me?
What else do you need? He looks at you, spinning your arms, then leans on the corner and sighs. His head drops between the shoulders, heavy and defeated.
She broke the bird, you know, the great skewer. I found it on the ground with a broken wing on the morning she left. I should have known. It was her way of telling me to piss off. I should stuff it up my arse.
Or you broke the bird. It can also be that. I think Sylvie even. Yes, the bird is connected to this. It's a symbol of hope, and she broke it.
Huh. Cock carousel. I think I understand now. That's what they ride until like 39. They ride the cock carousel until the clock runs out. Here, have the rest. Now, let me have a drink and think about this shit for a moment on my own.
And there we have it. Isn't that beautiful? Another situation fixed by Dr. Love.
Так. Тыков использования физиология, винсталин, пайу, Так, ну ладно. Так, ну так, птичку не есть, да? Это еще.
Can I help you?
Ну все, больше ничего не поговорили. Так. Еще денег поговорили. Посуда, она пахнет моющим средством и хвоей.
thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Garansi and Kubek. Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garansi Kubek. Please, it's not funny. The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove. The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence. He smiles. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling. You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side. It leads to a side building, adjacent to this one. The old building next to this, half ruined. Whatever is behind it must be older. The door does not budge.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? Eccentric. But okay, I suppose we could look into it. As a side investigation.
It's hardly a side investigation. You already have a name for it.
It's hardly worth a title. Anyway, Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those. Oh yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over now, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that. Yes?
Hello again, sweetie. Oh, sweetie, I heard your conversation with the manager about your financial troubles. When do you get your next paycheck?
You must be joking. Although our pay does sometimes feel like a joke.
It's not easy to assert your right to a decent living wage when you don't have a strong union behind you. Maybe you should talk to Evrard, the union leader.
Interesting idea. This Evrard sounds powerful. Maybe you can wrangle some coins out of his pocket. Your deportment remains dignified as you shed a single manly tear.
Sweetie, I only have a few cents on me, but I could give you this to pawn. Just I tied you over.
Wonderful. He has a pin.
The pin is round and slightly tarnished. 3 sailboats in bas relief with the sun hovering over the water behind them. A chipped green banner at the bottom reads, San Baptiste, Summer 31, Dinghy Races.
Cross the plaza and follow the road along the coast. Down by the water, there'll be a shack nestled against an old stone facade. That's the pawn shop. An old friend of my husband's goes there often. He says the owner is quite helpful.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn these items when talking to Roy.
It's easy. You bring a valuable item to a pawnbroker, who then gives you money for it. You can get it back later for a slightly larger sum if it hasn't been sold, but you never end up doing that anyway. Oh, it's not an ancient family heirloom or anything, but I suppose it would be nice to get it back. I hope you were able to pawn that old trinket. Of course, dear. I just wish I could have done more.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags. With a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now... Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow. Your hand is... The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it, some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below, and turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however. Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers. As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer. Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or empty. He wore them with a belt, too, a white belt. The loops appear stretched, but the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that...
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force. Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and this establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
The fuck's he on about, kids? You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something.
See?
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash container. It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey, nothing. It's nothing. Nothing more to see here. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, is that your paperwork? Yes, it is. Look. This plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash? Officer, this is an official piece of paperwork. It probably contains notes on numerous ongoing investigations and could even list undercover operatives, informants. I suggest integrating it into your style for all our sakes. I see, yes. You are what we call a badass, aren't you?
Wow, Went off script there, getting your ass handed to you. You shouldn't go picking fights if your rhetorical faculties haven't suggested it.
Tell me, does your badass see more in there, or are we done here? Ah, yes, and it would also be appropriate to start taking notes on the case. It's what cops do.
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the Interact tab to read your paperwork.
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron. Only in its social sensibility.
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate this item further by going to the Interact tab in your inventory.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
Volumetric ship compressor. Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic hydrogen levels of shit togetherness were thought to exist only at the center of collapsing stars, not law officials. It remains to be seen how long the shit's singularity lasts.
Так, что у нас там еще теперь? Так, одинокая дорога домой. Так, тут что у нас? Смотрите, тело жертвы. Похожу одежду в мусор. Теперь нужна прямо только этот сигар, потом одежда жертвы. Опять журнал регистрации, здесь название дела. Так, что у нас теперь? Актуализация драма. Так, мне нужно эмпатию немножко повысить, наверное, да? Повышаем. Так, хорошо. Чуть повысим, так, волна, движение. Ого. Ладно. Лет. Нет. Так, теперь. Самарийская маска. Блин, какие все-таки карты? Я сейчас не пойму немножко. Так, куда ты там? Так, дорога домой. Так. Это же была карта. Что-то по-любому она была у меня. Блин, где мне это? Карта вот эта. Здесь английская, английская, итальянская, английская, капча. Это...
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much. Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? Understood. You're that kind of detective. Why don't you get back to your case? It's just a racist mug. What's the... But it will not happen. The mug talk is exhausted. It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you. Thank you, waterlogged ledger, for spelling it out for us. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. If you want it to be kitchen tissue, it can be kitchen tissue. Cool toilet paper. I mean kitchen tissue. It says, everyone look at me and my kitchen tissue covered cop ledger. I don't care. My ledger is droopy and it smells like a urinal. An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip. The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. It is similar to the RCM watermark on your blazer the lieutenant mentioned. Didn't he say something about the headlights of his motor carriage? That you can read these there?
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved. How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. Yes, RCM vehicles have had lights tuned especially to reveal halogen watermarks.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, it's a sorry sight. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered with faint red. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you. It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average.
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes. Two? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. I prefer a normal caseload. It's a matter of method.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case. Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the Uka parlor, even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder, it's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does. It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one, the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case. Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete. Sadly, the letter only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It's unfitting of this monumental event. The lieutenant looks at his blue notebook. Two fat, shiny pens hang from the binder, like large caliber bullets on an ammo. He is not really saying anything, just standing there, looking at them.
Nor did I give it to you with resentment.
The tasks you've completed flow out of the blue oblong pen in a brash freehand, uncannily similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple, a language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Interview the cafeteria manager. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
No, actually. Any ideas? Ah, yes. I have to tell you, officer, I don't appreciate ironic titles. Other officers will have to use this as reference. If it's idiot or cockfinger, they're not going to get it. They're going to think an idiot and a cockfinger were on this case. So, do you have something less funny? Furies? Yes, well, I don't know. I have to be honest, I'm not experiencing the internal strife that it refers to. And also, could you make it less poetic somehow? Just a normal case name, you know? Think, what would that be? A good normal name?
Yes, yes, you know what that normal name is, but it's so plain. Anything else, please.
Okay, okay. It's a good name, but it has one problem. This case has nothing to do with the setting sun. At all. It has nothing to do with that, so something more concrete, perhaps? Do you have something concrete, mundane, usual?
Usual is boring. We don't do that.
Great, that's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now. In the back, you see thin, translucent copy paper, some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out, according to type of form. Three. The topmost are misconduct fines, the middle ones are station calls, and the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work. A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields, but they appear pleasantly vague. These are quite sinister in tone. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are the criminal charges you risk by not appearing. A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs. Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsies to dead guys. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork must have spared the fragile copier paper. It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back you see the embossed letters, RCM. Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it. Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment? Permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for permeable materials that would get damaged if something happened to it. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center. With your hands, U4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board. Is not what you end up doing. You squeeze the plastic to slide it open, but nothing happens. Then you bend it some. The ledger quivers in your hand. As it shakes, the pages rustle. This pathetic mess, suddenly afraid of you for some reason. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner. Arson, petty theft, spousal abuse. Handwritten logs on dozens of investigations date back to January 51. You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now. Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB 41, then date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 41120111700, the next world mural. Why yes, your precinct number is 41. Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it, and these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials. That is improbable. It It takes about half an hour to piece one together using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start? This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. Cause of failure: rent too high. The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class. People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case." The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the belles lettres have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the next world mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown. The case files do not show you finding the author of the design. The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villa Lobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between 2 options. A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us. Did anyone ask you what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next? Or are we done? AKA Leslie and Burke, aka the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it, it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in you were so drunk you didn't remember what it was when you signed on. That, or you were high. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability on par with you ceasing to produce the expression. You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is. Can you keep yourself off the streets? Threatening fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol, so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still it's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH, had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street. Because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing? Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. You're drunk out of your mind on potent Pilsner. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face. Then you proceed to beat him. In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who, at this point, is tending to Burke. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore. Can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke, who knows, but both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved. Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one?
Одному сломал ногу, третий там ухаживает за ним. Что-то на улице, все хорошо, да.
It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks, on her rocking chair, with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall. That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole in his forehead. Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next? Don't worry. One day you may still catch the man with the square gun. Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young, and they thought they looked cool on it. Yes, as you said here, insufferable rock and roll assholes. Young people are the worst. So anyway, you got a complaint about the damn sofa, or couch, or whatever it was. They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it to where they also took photos of themselves on it, and smoked cigarettes, and drank coffee because they felt it's intellectual. Cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So congratulations to you. Case solved. No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do. What next? Murder. Tum 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 at the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead, of circumstances completely unconnected to murder at the hookah parlor. Beaten to death by a throng of Villalobos gang members when him and his partner J.M., only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story, and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling and get to the murder at the hookah parlor. Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve, was doing it solo, said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twister, was on it for, like, a month. The captain got impatient. Shit or get off the pot, Mills. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains, running with every theory, as outlandish as they seemed. Still couldn't solve the murder at the hookah parlor. Tough case, he said. Toughest he's ever had. No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, he'd been on it for months now. Said it was the final case. Said it was uncrackable. That murderer vanished into thin air. That goddamn hookah parlor was all he talked about. Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day. No, it's soot and water vapor. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, so anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of the day. No one else is in there, only client that day. In perfect health, too. Some kind of movie producer. No one enters, no one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. No calls, nothing. Just sucking on the hookah until 15:45. Then bam, he's dead on the floor with his skull busted open, Blood. Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin. Movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. Table's low, heavy, really sharp edge. See? You can't even read the thing without soul in it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom. Yeah, he liked his hookah. Stephen was his name. Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, that was Murder at the Hookah Parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed, piecing it together. Next, not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard. Just relax. The two sides of the board are slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off the slides. All you need to do is bend the plastic on your knee, slowly. The slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just, you know. Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open. 2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too. Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue. It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored. Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card, looped, round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please. A merciful wind blows in from the bay of Revachol, dusting the ground at your feet and raising newspapers far away. You feel the card slipping into it. Your hands shake, holding onto it. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you. You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. Sparks fall like snow from the bow collector. A streetcar distancing. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, no, hold on. To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right?
There is nothing.
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence. He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
Yes? What do you want to know? Good.
No response. He's having trouble processing it, believing it.
Have you tried concentrating?
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
Fine. We should get through this day first. Try work. The case at hand, not a fan.
The RCN deploys a self-styled structure called the Decomptage as its chain of command.
Focus on other people's troubles, not your own. That is a relief.
A moment passes. The lieutenant...
What about me? Good. Let's change this.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. Oh, yes, that door. Sure. There's not... No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. I don't... Or some bore...
He's attempting to maintain it.
Fine, okay. So, I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though. After the... Yes?
Hello again, sweet. Oh, sweetie, I heard your conversation with...
You must be joking.
It's not easy.
Interesting idea. This Evra sounds bad. Try to force a tear out of your duct. Really rip into the whole emotional aggression thing.
Officer, get a hold of yourself, please.
Sweetie, I'm sorry, but I think you need more help than I can give you. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I don't have money for you. If there's anything else I can do for you, just ask. Oh, sweetie, I heard your conversation with the manager about your financial troubles. When do you get your... Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I don't have money for you.
This trash container is locked with a well-oiled don't. Maybe you shouldn't. There is. But the smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below. Among the threadbare as the legs of
the victim's clothes. Drop them in here, officer. Guitar mark. The belt is missing.
Something slimy catches your... A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored.
This is a military-type overgarment.
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But...
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or... Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and his establishment had the key. It's just a small loose...
The fuck's he on about?
See?
The lieutenant nods. Then it's just nothing. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple pit. Something larger. A clipboard.
Officer, is that... Yes, it is. Look. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash? What are you talking about? Do as though also thorough inventories. You should take stock of your notes. Make sure it's all there. Official notes contain informants' names. If some of it has fallen into the hands of the RCM's adversaries, bloodletting may well ensue. I see, yes.
Wow, went off script there.
Tell me, seeth your bad as more in there, or are we done? Ah, yes, and it would also be appropriate to start taking notes on the case. It's what cops do.
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are in...
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction only in its social sense.
You've acquired an interactable item.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think...
volumetric ship compressor. Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed. It's just a racist mug. Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? So again, you dug it out of the trash. Why? It wasn't going to offend anyone there. Why don't you just get back to your case? It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic. There's a piece of toilet paper, or it's a metaphor. Thank you, or below the pathetics. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. If you want it to be kitchen tissue, it can be It says, everyone look at me and my kitchen tissue covered cop ledger. An aluminium block runs the width of the board. Biting down, the surface is interrupted. It is similar to the...
What? Yes, halogen, what? It depends. Aside from...
Maybe yours. How many years you've been on the force?
Any capable light with a... Yes, RCM vehicles have...
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the light.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand. They're not exactly. Once in a while, work, strife. It's the middle of March. You have a...
Huh? 2 complex cases to under... 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was... It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Like a fan of girls, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting, yes. A title, one might say even. One that, yes, all caps. One is called, others appear more light-hearted. The guy's on a couch in an unexpected location. And it's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done...
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of... Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, it's a holdover from the early days of the RCM. Right after the revolt again. In your... I pray his loved ones never find out. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
There is, for precisely once all the tasks are accomplished. Sadly, the ledger only comes. The lieutenant, look, he is not really saying.
Nor did I give this to you with resentment.
The task you've completed, inspect the interview, it's not exactly poetry. Things to be done, and...
No, actually. Any ideas? Great. That's great. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're arson, petty theft, spousal abuse, handwritten logs on dozens. You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the... In the back, then rip them from the... 3. The top, you don't have to be a monetary piece, but they appear. These are quite sinister in turn. A dozen pages of thin copy paper. Yes, all that remains now is to fill. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for it's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission. Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it. Something rattles permeables. It's not the plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not with your hands. You 4-sized pages hang from the clip, screwed to the top of the board. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself. And then sprinkled liberally. Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. Why yes, your precinct, every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your... Yeah. No. It takes about half an hour to piece one together. This one, it calls of the mural. True love. People caught the graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lecture. The case files do not. The crew agrees. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villalobos, plus half of the eminent domain, a staggering 78% of voters. Did anyone ask you what you believe in, man with the smelly? AKA Leslie and Burke, AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. You were so drunk you didn't remember what it... Leslie will always take his... The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bite, you would think that. Can you keep yourself threatening? Fine. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and good. You're learning. He must have, in the process, he came at, can't get out of, which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes, and it would be, that's all you got. Who knows? Don't worry. One day you may still catch the man with the... Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. Insufferable dicks. Young people, they were leaving it out in all these cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid rather die than work with the justice system.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off his precious carriage. The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rails The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now.
As you hold your ledgers clipped under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights. You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. Two men engaged in a drunken argument, followed by the closing of some distant window.
Ah, Martinez at night. Let me see. Right here. No, it does not.
The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the...
Let me see. Right here. It has its problems.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some. You count 216 perforations. Considering that nice, large number, a wave of pride washes over you, though you can't say why precisely. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? Yes, that does seem quite likely. Your youth coincided with some heady days for Revachol. But let's move on, shall we? This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers. Call it what you want. You were a valuable member of your precinct. Now, let's look at the last row. Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that there are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. Yes.
It's not a problem for him to state it, however.
Everyone has their own method of coping, some more effective or self-destructive than others. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now. Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab.
If you want to pour out the booze you've been carrying around on duty, I'm certainly not going to stop you. As you will.
The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task description.
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint. From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen. Salam Rocky Baye, badass on the edge disco cop. Time to recede into a ludicrous fantasy world. Here we go. Camera, light. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along with it. In an iconic monochrome solution, a black silhouette against a rasterized orange world.
или не желает увидеть, ты работаешь ли, как многие скажут, или местного охрана правопорядка. Ой. Так. Нормалек. Чё я там не помню своих мыслей, минус 2 логика. Подходит. Так, а чё я могу? Сейчас, поэтому надо это переночевать, да? Так, или подожди, мне надо побазарить что-то насчет этого. Насчет какой-то фигни. Вот полицейского стажирования.
The worker is in a deep slumber.
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for. How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. I think fugue states are more your forte, officer. Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene. The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threats that solves itself down the road. Thank you anyway.
Yes?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod.
просто стоит.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back. Yes, buy something nice. A figurine. Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
A long, long time ago. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but children like the bright colours indiscriminately.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels and tall sticks.
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. Maybe.
Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad somehow. Most of them are just broken toys. Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey, you. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again. Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. Should we just stop building love, too? Good. We need tender men like you building gargantuan communism. Word on the street is it's going to be 10,000 times larger than any communism previously attempted by human beings. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, empower all people who have more than 25 real in their pockets, literally murder all human beings regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff. Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about to rip it off and reveal the monstrous seven-eyed lamb of global communism that would devour and masticate mankind. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? Failure. It's about failure. Yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb stomped and pissed on. until you came along. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. You against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the... Now get to work, comrade.
Звучит как какая-то нереальная идея. Поэтому, ну... Нет, не вполне. И что это удивительно, да, и чувство не надо. Не попробовать.
Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell the working man it's over. Unless any... Did someone mention cocaine? Are we doing cocaine? No. I'm sure I heard someone say cocaine is... Anyone? Anyone else? There's no one. There's no one. Okay then. Lie down and let the water carry you downstream. A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order. It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. There's also the matter of rewiring, but the most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. This is you. Golden orange. A sunset suite. Just make sure it works before you buy
it. Is the Harman Welshie W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel format. 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real. If police work means playing tapes, sure, you can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape. Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres. Even
That's odd. Why doesn't he like music?
the stuff I record myself, silverware shaking in drawers as motor cars race by, nocturnal animals climbing on the roof, airship rotors, that kind of thing.
Maybe you should ditch music as well. Get into these more experimental sounds he's describing.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately, RCM or otherwise.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
Entertained? He might be high. If he is, on what? Okay, he definitely is high. Whatever it is, you've probably done it, and many other things besides. But you can't cut through the jumble of sensations to get to the answer. A guarded man like him wouldn't tell you if you asked out loud.
I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business, bad for everyone.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions.
He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's trying to spare you.
You weren't quiet yourself, officer. You were very distraught. You said the gun was a threat to your life and that you can't trust yourself with it tonight, and that you need the money. When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of sucked on it. Then I agreed to take it. 15 real.
The lieutenant looks from you to Roy, and then back to you. It's clear that he hopes this tableau might still turn out to be a bad dream. This has got to be the most. Wow. There's pity there too, in case you didn't notice.
It certainly does, especially in Revachol. She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Miraculously, his face does not reveal what's happening inside.
In that case, she'll be happy to get a visit from us, if we can find her.
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You just have to hope you luck upon her somehow.
Of course. Sure thing. Sure, man. Let me have a look. I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps.
Всем до свидания. Продолжим как-нибудь в скором времени.